Good morning, Lancer Nation. This Friday, March 7th. Welcome to our March 2025 installment of Calhoun's Corner. We have a couple of guests joining, Coach Calhoun and myself today. We'll just kind of go across this way. I'm Nick Lawrence, English professor here at USCL. And everybody introduce yourselves.
Nick Calhoun, athletics director and head baseball coach at USCL.
Verena Delgado, social media content curator for UCL.
And student.
And
I'm Courtney Catledge, the interim dean here at USC Lancaster.
It's very nice to have a student athlete with us and our dean with us today as well. They'll both get an opportunity to share some thoughts. Of course, it is spring, and Lancers baseball is powerfully underway. They've had a lot go on in the last week and a couple of really big series to come that we'll be talking about. Before we get there, we do have a few updates, though, regarding our soccer and volleyball teams, both the men's and women's soccer and the women's volleyball, busy in the spring, both with recruiting and playing. We'll turn things over to Verena, who, on top of being a student and a social media coordinator for athletics here at USCL, also plays and is one of the stars of our ladies soccer team. And so she's going to give us a little bit of update about how things are going there.
Thank you. There's not much going on in this spring season, but it is challenging and tough for both men and women's soccer. We play a lot of D1, D2 schools to challenge ourselves for next fall season to prepare us and stuff. But we recently played Winthrop. When was it? Wednesday? Yeah. And we lost 3-0, but it was a really good game. But it's been fun. A lot of recruiting too. Kenny has done. He's worked so hard for recruits all over the world, outside the country too. So it's fun. Yeah.
Verena is talking about Coach Kenny Hallis, who's been, I think that's the right pronunciation, right?
Yeah.
Who has been a fantastic recruiter and coach. You guys, of course, a lot of these games are road games, and so you do a little bit of spring travel as well. What's your favorite place that you've seen so far this spring?
I would say Winthrop, just because the facilities there and the field is just amazing. It's nice and it was close, but there's a lot more games going that we get to travel to, so I can't really pick out much right now. But.
It's interesting with the spring sports for soccer and volleyball, because on the one hand, you're playing and you're rolling, but then you've got reinforcements coming in the fall. Yeah. And so I just wonder if it feels like, well, this is us, but then it's going to be us plus. What's that like?
Yeah, that's why we're playing a lot of tough games right now, but we're also mixing a lot of sophomore players don't really play as much. We're playing more freshmen that are going to play next year. So, Coach Kenny's been working a lot, and it's been confusing, but we're getting it. Yeah.
One other thing is how is the training different in the fall from the spring? Since it's not as intensive season.
Yeah, it's Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays are the liftings and then practice, and then Tuesdays and Thursdays are speed and agility. So we work on our fitness, but it's still a lot, but not as much. Yeah, but it's been fun.
And you guys get an actual spring break. Next week is spring break at USCL, and I believe the soccer teams get the week off.
Yeah, we have a little break. Yeah, finally.
So that's exciting.
Yes.
On the volleyball front, I got a nice little talking point from Coach Mike Van Loo. They're also very busy. He wanted me to note that our 2025 recruiting class is almost complete. We just added another state champion to our roster, Anna Hutton, a setter from North Myrtle Beach High School. Spring season kicks off this week. I got this email from Coach Mike on Monday. So they traveled to Cleveland Community College on Wednesday to play one of their spring games. They also travel through this week to Livingstone College, Carolina University, and Belmont Abbey, all of which I believe are fairly close to here. We also, Coach Mike wanted me to emphasize that we have a home date on Saturday, April 12th, right over here at the Y on our campus at 11 a.m. And that game is free and open to the public. So keep your eyes on our athletics website and just the USCL webpage for more information on that. We'll actually come back to Verinia a little bit. I know she's feeling like she's being asked a lot of stuff, but in addition to playing for us and being a student athlete here, Verinia has been our social media coordinator, student coordinator since last fall. I think she's really kind of getting warmed up now, very comfortable in her role, and now she's starting to cover baseball a little bit too. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about what that's been like, and you know, maybe you have some thoughts about future career options that this plays into.
Yes, it's been fun and challenging though. The fun part is like going to the baseball games, learning about baseball because I never really watched baseball, and then creating like more friends on the baseball team that I never talked to. And then editing. I love the editing part, using the iPad, like the pen and everything. It's just really fun. And the tough part is like coming up with ideas and like not making the post boring, or I just want to be more creative about things, and time management. I think that's one of the biggest ones too. It's been helping me like organize my life more. But yeah, and communicating with like you and other like baseball teams, and yeah, pretty much it.
Do you have some friends that can kind of play off ideas with you to kind of spark you some creativity?
Yeah, I usually talk to Maddie, which is one of our teammates in the soccer team. She also works for our Instagram page. She's really good with like her editing skills as well, so she helps me a lot. Erica, me and her, we like to go out, shoot, like take some pictures of the baseball teams, and yeah. They help a lot, yeah.
And the crowd scenes at the home games are also a lot of fun. Of course, I was there with redshirt freshman Justice Knight covering our doubleheader last Saturday. We'll talk more about that in a moment. But we had upwards of 100 people and more at the peak attendance last Saturday. And there were dogs and kids running around. You know, Coach Mike was selling his wares, popcorn and gosh knows what else, pickles, I think. And so I think you'll get some really good crowd shots at the home games to come too, and looking forward to that. Yeah. So we'll be adding that feature too. Let's turn to Dean Catledge. She's been interim dean. Well, how long have you been in this role as interim dean for us at USCL?
It's been about 15 months, not counting or anything, but about 15 months since January of 24. So yeah, it's been going very well.
Since January 24, yeah, we're moving right along. And one of your big activities in these last 15 months, I would say, has been supporting and learning about and engaging our athletics program, even as you think about your vision for the campus overall. And maybe you would talk to us a little bit about how those sports programs and the university, that relationship, and how you see it moving forward.
Sure. So I've come to realize over these last 15 months just how important and valuable athletics is to USC Lancaster, but not just USC Lancaster, to our community as well. You know, what I've discovered is we have about 120 athletes here at USC Lancaster, traditional students, but they're not just from our typical service area. So they're not all from South Carolina or the South Carolina, North Carolina area. They're from really all over the country and all over the world. And when you bring people from all over the country and all over the world together, you just have this more robust experience. I've learned so much about, just by interacting with the athletes, just so much about their culture. I mean, just listening to different languages and hearing about like what they're going to do at spring break and how they're going to see Savannah or going to some far off place to just have an experience. And I think it's really created just a really neat vibe here at USC Lancaster. I will say one of the things that I really want to see more of, and I think over the last year or so, I have seen more activity and more participation in watching all the games, whether it be soccer or baseball. I was at one of the baseball games on Saturday, or on Sunday I came, but on Saturday I heard there was like over 110 people there. So that's a lot of people coming to support. Not as many students as I'd like to see, so we can still push that a good bit. But I think that's another thing, is we really create community when we promote it, and the more people we tell about it, the more they want to come. We had a dean's dialogue the other day, and dean's discussion rather, and that's what I kind of said. You want more activities on campus, we have to support the ones we have. And athletics is one of the ones we have. So the soccer team needs to come support the baseball team. The baseball team needs to come support the soccer team and the volleyball team and all of that. And once we start really building that community, it's more fun for everybody. It really is. We do. I had a discussion as a result of that dean's discussion. A student showed up in my office. It was the coolest experience because you tell people that you have an open door policy, right?
Yeah.
But then they don't come. Anyway, she came. It was an epiphany for me, to be honest. And what she said was she's not an athlete. And what she said was, I don't really go to games, but I want to. I want to know who the athletes are on campus. How can non-athletic students, get involved in some of these athletic events? And so we had this really neat conversation that I want to talk to you about sometime, Nick. But anyway, it was just really rewarding to see that everybody is kind of trying to get around that. And that's really what I see is, that students need to support other students. Our community needs to come out and support. And all of those things just lead to kind of a stronger sense of community. As a result of that, we also realized that to have athletics, you have to be able to support athletics. So we have a pretty good scholarship support right now. We'd like to, of course, continue to increase that. Our facilities are okay. We're doing the best we can with what we have to work with. It takes a lot of money and funding to support that, and so we're being as creative as we are with that. But this year, we have a Gift for Garnet Day, 26th through the 27th, and we're really highlighting athletics. We've got some matches that are going to support each one of the teams up to $1,000. Our student athletes are highly involved in this, and they're going to send it out. So I encourage anyone, you don't have to support a lot because a little from a lot of people ends up being a lot. So if you're interested in supporting athletics here at USC Lancaster, go to our Gift for Garnet, or anytime, just give us a call and we'd be glad to do that. But most importantly, we'd like your support physically. So come to the games, come to the baseball games, volleyball games. It's really a lot of fun.
Will the Gift for Garnet, there'll be a link on the USCL website
Yes.
through the month? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
It's already opened up, so you can already go ahead and give if you want to. But the end of it is the 27th.
That's very exciting. And it's true that we do see, having gone to soccer and volleyball games and been at the baseball games, I am seeing more and more cross-pollination from teams to teams. Soccer players going to volleyball games. I saw several of the soccer players and some volleyball players at the baseball games on Saturday. We also had a great turnout from the visiting squad. And I guess now we can talk about baseball. The USCL Lancers are currently 3-3 in Region 10 play, so still very early in region play, right, Coach Calhoun? We got a few games under our belt, 7-12 overall. A couple of big weekends ahead, though. This weekend, we are on the road against the USC Sumter Fire Ants, Saturday and Sunday. And then next weekend, the weekend following, we host the team that right now is in first place in Region 10, the USC Union Bantams, even though it's Florence Darlington, who's currently second in the region, that is nationally ranked. And boy, we had a wild ride with them last weekend with Justice Knight and I calling the action. We will be streaming at least 2 of the games when we host Union next weekend as well, and more information about that. That's been a blast. But Florence Darlington is a machine. They're very good. I think they're either 13th or 19th nationally currently. It's kind of wild about Region 10 that they're that good and Union is in first. And then we are right there, right? Like third, right behind everybody. And so are those teams. So with that as a grand sort of segue, Coach Calhoun, tell us a little bit about what you've seen so far, what you're looking forward to this weekend against Sumter, and just Region 10 baseball in general.
Yeah, something that's new that's been introduced to the region with Spartanburg Methodist turning to 4-year school is that now you play every team twice, once at home, at your home, and then once away. So you're getting to see teams more often, and then when you get to the region tournament, you'll see them for a third time, depending on who you play. What's been interesting about this team is we didn't have as many guys return as we did in years previous. So at the beginning of the year, it was everybody kind of get to know each other and how you're going to play when you get out there and they keep score and you have umpires and all that. But the team's steadily getting better and better and better. So I'm looking forward to seeing how we do this weekend against Sumter, and then Union's always fun because if the weather's nice, with us being so close, you get a ton of people, and just continuing to watch our team grow and just get more comfortable with themselves on the field.
It's a chance to really make some noise with games with weekend sets against Sumter and Union back to back. Do you have games in the middle during spring break on weekdays against anyone, or is it just those weekend bookends?
Yeah, you'd like to have as many midweek games as possible without interrupting, your class schedule. So that way, maybe guys who didn't play as much on the weekends, you get to see, how are they progressing, who can help us come weekend. Like, for example, this coming week on Wednesday, we're going to Francis Marion to play a doubleheader. So, and it beats practice, too, this late in the year.
Francis Marion's JV team?
Yes, Francis Marion's
JV team. That's a Division I school, too, right?
Division II.
Oh, they're Division II? Okay. So that's just a lot of baseball that they've been playing, and for the season to be so early, we will get a chance to host. I think we talked about this last time. The Lancers' really first section of the season was a lot of road games.
Yeah.
Of course, this weekend is road games, too, but it feels like multiple homestands are coming. I mean, is that kind of the way it's playing out?
Yeah, the way the schedule's worked out is now you're home one weekend, away the next weekend, home the next week, just alternating.
Yeah. That's exciting, and we will be bringing lots of live stream games to you. You might have noticed that instead of doing this on, just like today's episode of Calhoun's Corner, we've migrated really from using Facebook Live to putting the link for the event, but the event actually be taking place on and streaming on YouTube. We've found that the quality to be much stronger there and just better, more audience friendly in all sorts of ways. So let's see, as we sort of close up, I guess we'll be looking at when will the Region 10 tournament be? When does our regular season end? I mean, I know we're still kind of early middle of it, but how do things wrap up and then down to Lexington?
The region play will wrap up the last weekend in April, and then the region tournament historically, since I've been here anyway, when they've moved to Lexington, it's always been the first weekend in May.
So there's still a lot of baseball left, and that stadium down in Lexington is a lot of fun. I went down there last year to see some playoff action, and we brought a lot of fans with us. There wasn't just me. There were a lot of people that drove down. It's not that far from here. It's down in Columbia, so we'll certainly be bringing you news about that at the end of April as well. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us today. We are on the cusp of spring break, so we're all cheerful and ready to roll. Well, I guess Coach Calhoun, he's like, he's more in business mode. They're getting ready to go on the road tomorrow. But hopefully there's a little bit of spring break fever in the souls of those baseball players too. We look forward to coming back to you guys in April to talk more about just baseball and all the other sports. Thank you so much for tuning in.